The 2027 Ford Ranger is arriving with one of the most complete mid-cycle updates the midsize pickup segment has seen. A sharper design, an entirely new tech platform, and a hybrid powertrain that US buyers have never been able to get in the truck until now. If you've been holding off on pulling the trigger because nothing in this class checks every box at once, capability, efficiency, and up-to-date technology, the 2027 Ranger is about to make that decision a lot easier. Most buyers assume that adding a hybrid powertrain to a midsize truck means giving something up, towing capacity, off-road performance, or both, but the 2027 Ranger is delivering all of it in the same package, and that changes the conversation entirely. Styling updates. The current generation of Ranger is aging pretty well, better than most, but Ford isn't waiting for the design to go stale before acting. A styling refresh is on the way for 2027, touching several areas of the truck, most of them at the front. The grille is getting a bolder treatment. Headlights are being redesigned with sharper detailing and updated LED lighting. The front bumper is also changing, with a more aggressive shape and revised air intake openings that give the truck a more purposeful presence. Rear end changes are going to be subtler. The tailgate and tail lamp areas are seeing updates, but the overall proportions are staying exactly where they are. What isn't changing is the Ranger's fundamental character. The same broad shoulders, the same confident ride height, the same hard-working stance. Ford isn't touching any of that. The updates are precise and focused, modernizing what was already a strong design without overcomplicating it. By the time the 2027 model hits dealer lots, the Ranger is going to look like a truck that just arrived, not one that's been on the market for half a decade. But a sharper exterior only goes so far, and Ford knows that buyers cross-shopping this truck today are paying just as much attention to what's happening inside the cabin. That's where one of the biggest changes in the entire 2027 update is waiting. New infotainment system. Technology moves fast, and the Ranger's cabin is about to catch up in a meaningful way. Ford is replacing the current Sync 4 system with the Ford Digital Experience, the same platform already running in the Explorer and Expedition. It's a significant step forward, and buyers who've spent time with Sync 4 are going to feel the difference right away. The Ford Digital Experience is built on Google's software architecture. Google Maps is integrated directly into the system, and Google Assistant handles voice commands without requiring a phone connection. Google Play Access is part of the package as well, opening up a wide range of apps beyond what Sync 4 currently supports. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are staying on board, so there's no loss of connectivity either way. Anyone who has tapped a destination into Sync 4 and sat there waiting for it to respond knows exactly how frustrating slow infotainment gets after a few months of daily use. The Ford Digital Experience is going to process commands faster and render menus with noticeably less lag, the kind of system that works with a driver instead of against them. Blue Cruise is also arriving as part of the 2027 package, using adaptive cruise control and lane centering technology to allow hands-free driving on pre-mapped highway sections, a genuine upgrade for anyone covering serious miles regularly. The new tech inside the cabin is a real step forward, but what Ford is doing under the hood is about to raise the stakes even further, because the 2027 Ranger is getting a powertrain the US market has never seen in this truck before. Electrification. This is the update a large portion of US Ranger buyers have been watching for. A plug-in hybrid version of the Ranger is finally coming to the American market as part of the 2027 lineup. Ford has been selling the Ranger PHEV in international markets for some time, and the platform has had the time to prove itself. The system pairs a 2.3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with an electric motor, producing solid output for both daily commuting and weekend hauling. When the battery runs out, the combustion engine takes over without hesitation and without any interruption in power delivery. Filling up a midsize truck has become one of the more painful parts of ownership, and for buyers putting real mileage on their truck every week, those fuel stops add up fast. The Ranger PHEV addresses that directly, with fuel economy figures going to position it among the most efficient trucks in the entire midsize segment. Running on electric power for daily errands, then switching seamlessly to the combustion engine for heavier work, this powertrain is designed to cut running costs without asking the driver to give up a single pound of capability. Now, a hybrid powertrain naturally raises a question. Does going electrified mean the Ranger is giving up the raw capability numbers that made it a segment leader? That's worth looking at directly, because the towing and payload story for 2027 is one Ford is clearly not backing away from. Towing and payload. Capability has always been one of the strongest arguments for choosing a Ranger. The 2027 model is going to keep that argument standing, with towing and payload ratings that remain among the best in the class. There's a group of buyers who genuinely need towing capability but don't want to manage a full-size truck through parking lots, narrow job site roads, and suburban traffic every single day. That's exactly the space the Ranger occupies, with a towing rating of up to 7,700 pounds and a payload capacity of up to 1,860 pounds, all in a footprint that stays manageable for daily use. A boat on weekends, a loaded trailer during the week, material runs to the job site. The 2027 Ranger handles all of it without compromise. Strong towing numbers are one thing, but for a meaningful part of the Ranger's buyer base, the real capability question is about what this truck can do once the road disappears entirely. That's a conversation that deserves its own chapter. Off-road performance. The Ranger's off-road lineup has been one of its most competitive features for years, and the 2027 update isn't walking any of that back. The Ranger Raptor continues to lead the way, equipped with Fox Live valve shocks that read the terrain and adjust in real time. Ground clearance, approach angles, and departure angles are all tuned for serious off-road use. Under the hood, the twin-turbocharged V6 is producing 405 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque, numbers that put the Raptor in entirely different territory from anything else in the segment. Not every buyer needs the full Raptor package, but plenty still want a truck that's genuinely ready when the pavement ends. Spending $60,000+ to get there isn't always realistic. That's where the Tremor package steps in, bringing lifted suspension, off-road rated tires, underbody skid plates, and a locking rear differential at a considerably more accessible price point. Terrain management system covers both configurations with selectable modes for sand, mud, rocks, and slippery surfaces. An off-road lineup this strong, paired with a new hybrid powertrain and a completely updated tech package, would normally come with a price tag that gives buyers pause. So the question worth asking right now is, what is Ford actually going to charge for all of this? Launch date and price. The 2027 Ford Ranger is going to be arriving at dealerships before the end of this year. Ford is on schedule, with the refreshed model expected to reach buyers in the second half of 2026. For anyone actively shopping a midsize truck right now, that timeline is worth factoring into the decision. Pricing is going to move up modestly from 2026 levels. That's expected with any model year update. The 2026 Ranger is currently starting at around $34,000 for the base XL trim, climbing through XLT, Lariat, and Tremor grades before reaching the Raptor at just above $60,000. For 2027, the increases aren't going to be dramatic. Ford is keeping this truck in its competitive price window, right alongside the Toyota Tacoma and Chevrolet Colorado. Buyers shouldn't expect sticker shock. They should expect a significantly better truck at a price that's close to what they'd be paying today. The 2027 Ford Ranger is arriving as a truck that addressed its own weaknesses before the competition had a chance to exploit them. A refreshed exterior that modernizes without losing what made the design work. A new infotainment platform that finally matches the quality of the hardware around it. A plug-in hybrid powertrain that cuts running costs without touching capability. And behind all of that, the same class-leading towing numbers and one of the strongest off-road lineups in the segment. Pricing is staying competitive, the timeline is set, and the package Ford is putting together for 2027 is the most complete version of this truck that US buyers have ever had access to. What we are seeing here is some serious shaping up for the next year, but Ranger isn't the only one doing that. If you're more up for something that's oriented to comfort and smoothness, then you definitely want to check out our next video about the 2027 Honda Ridgeline. It's getting a full redesign with the look it deserves and a brand new V6-based hybrid powertrain.